guys, welcome back to Beast Quest. Series 12, The Darkest Hour, has finally begun. Series 11 was a nice series. Yeah, with Kenser and all that, but we're finally here with Series 12, The Darkest Hour. And I think the title, whenever you hear the name The Darkest Hour, it's gotta be like the biggest, nastiest, awfulest thing of all. And I think so far that lives up to the series title as what I'm gonna go into about why it's the darkest hour if you don't know. So again, when it comes to these reviews, they're full in depth with the story and all that. So you have been warned. But if you really don't care for spoilers, let's carry on for this, because you know those are the reviews are for. Just to remind you all. Right, let's kick off this new series and go over the plot. Tom and Eleanor were upset. They wanted to take action and help Adaro. He had been arrested by Council of Wizards for using dark magic to aid our heroes. Passage into Henkrab, but as we know it was all for the best intentions. Meanwhile, Tom mentioned that his red jewel had come loose from his belt when they travelled back home from Henkrab. Tom spoke to King Hugo, but he replied there was nothing he could do. They outranked him. Tom turned his attention to Daltek and begged him to help them as he was Adaro's apprentice. Daltek protested, but the king made it an order, and then he agreed, saying they would be able to watch him but not interact while the trial took place. They entered and spotted chairs with names for each one of the wizards. Tom was shocked when he saw that Malvel, Velmal, and Kenser had empty chairs. They had once served as high-ranking wizard council members. Adaro was there, all battered. They stated his crime, but Adaro pleaded guilty. He actually pleaded guilty. He admitted to it. I kind of expected it from Adaro. He was willing to take the consequences. Tom yelled, saying he was innocent. Eleanor reminded Tom it wasn't no use. Daltek's spell couldn't allow them to see them. However, the judge wizard could see them and explained all the wizards had far superior magic compared to Daltek, the apprentice. He allowed the other wizards to see their guests, and Tom spoke on Adaro's behalf, despite his already accepting of guilty. After some talking, Tom made a bargain. If they captured Kenser and brought her to them, they shall exchange her for Adaro's sentence cleared. It was agreed under one condition. The judge demanded Tom hand over his belt tokens and his shield tokens. The belt was removed and his shield tokens had been turned into stone. They were sent back and Tom felt not so ready anymore. He was visited by King Hugo, who handed a piece of broken mirror. He explained it was magic and had the power to find a person anywhere, but only it worked for a short time. Soon Daltek came and he too had a gift for Tom, a pebble pendant that would glow red when they were near Kenser or Sampaio. Then Daltek was about to reveal another set of magic tokens called the lightning tokens. However, the box was empty. Now, to my knowledge, Tom still has the red jewel from his belt, which allows him to communicate with the beasts, as it had fallen out and was still in his pocket. This was something I always feared Tom would lose all his... this is something I always feared, that Tom would lose all his tokens. While he didn't lose them all, I hope he can get them back for his actions. This will be a test to see if Tom can do it without the aid of his tokens. Mind you, he does have a couple new ones and his golden armor powers. Also, Sepron is in danger as his stone was shaking, you know what I mean? Tom and Eleanor are sent to help Sepron with the aid of Daltek's magic. They get teleported there, and the pebble pendant indicates that Kenser and Sampaio are near this area. And using Tom's keen sight from the power of the golden helmet, Tom could see Sampaio's pirate ship. Our heroes made a swam for it, and took the anchor to climb aboard stealthily. They overheard Kenser and Sampaio bickering, while also revealing they had a new set of beasts called the lightning beasts, and the only way to defeat them was the lightning tokens, which Kenser had stolen from Daltek. Tom had made a plan. While Kenser distracted the crew, Tom would get the lightning tokens. The plan was a success, and our heroes dived into the waters before the pirates could get their pieces on them. Tom and Eleanor were now duck bait, when suddenly they were rescued by Sepron, and he managed to get them out of Sampaio's range. Sepron ignored Tom's requests and took him and Eleanor to Wildor in barely any time. Tom and Eleanor assumed this to be something to do with the forbidden lightning magic, what was going on. Sepron had brought them to help Crab and Freya, who had been in a great battle. Tom rescued his mother, and she instructed Tom she had a healing token, but she asked Tom to use it on Crab first. Tom refused, not wanting to lose his mother. He saved her first, and then, taking the Pearl of Gwildor, he used it to breathe under Gwildor's waters to help Crab. However, his rescue came to a halt when Tom saw a deadly huge shark coming right at him. Earlier on, Tom's new map had informed them a beast named Solek, and Tom knew instantly this was him. Tom made a quick retreat and warned the others. They all hopped aboard Crab, and using some of Freya's powers connected to her beasts, Crab's speed increased, and they tried to run from Solek. However, it wasn't Solek kept coming back, and in one instance, Tom had lost his shield. Tom was determined to go after, but Eleanor refused to allow her friend to do it. She didn't want Tom risking that much. Soon enough, Sepron showed up and helped fend off Solek. However, he was still alive, and they had escaped. Solek escaped. But they knew he would return, and as they reached the shore, they needed to come up with a plan. Tom and the others had made a fire around the beach of Gwildor. After some sulking about losing Tom's shield, Freya requesting she fights the beast while Tom keep his bargain with the wizards and go and get Kensa, they soon remembered they had the lightning tokens. They were 6 orbs, no doubt one per beast. They were the only chance they had to successfully defeat the lightning beasts. They summoned Crab and headed to sea. Tom and Eleanor headed to sea, refusing to take the risk of having Freya with them. In case they failed, she could be their last hope. She felt bad but understood, and gave them the Pearl of Gwildor. Tom and Eleanor took the Crab and soon met Solek. We do learn that Tom's helmet sight vision can't see underwater. Anyway, Tom discovered that Solek uses his fins as weapons. Tom tried to talk with Solek, but he was surprised normally he would be able to reason with the beast. However, Solek had hated Tom through and through, speaking about his father and telling Tom all he cared about was his death, meaning Tom. Eleanor managed to scare him off, but it was only a matter of time before he returned. Tom and Eleanor noticed a thunderstorm, no doubt a result of the lightning beasts. They had a scuffle with Solek again, and soon got to a point where Tom was flung from from Crab to the neck of Solek. He held on tightly and soon was separated from Solek. He rejoined Eleanor and informed him of his new plan. He needed the pearl and handed Eleanor his sword. He had to make it look like he was defenseless, which Eleanor did correct, he technically is, but he was willing to take that risk, and he hoped his plan would work out. Tom is now shark bait. He soon got Solek's attention, and at the right time, he tossed the token into Solek's mouth. However, Tom got snagged and ended up in the mouth of Solek. He thought he was doomed when he noticed the token hadn't gone in fully. It got stuck on a tooth. Tom tossed it down the throat, and after a bumpy ride, Solek exploded into bubbles. Tom was free along with his shield. Eleanor helped him aboard Crab as they sailed back to Gwildor. Tom was wondering, should they tell his mother about the lightning beast they knew about his father? My theory is Taladon is the one who imprisoned them, probably. That's just me. But the map has changed, and they could hear earthquakes. Avanti and Gwildor were separating further away, but Caonia had now arrived. They had to stop this soon, because all the kingdoms are going to collide. And that right there, that whole concept, that's the big issue. All these kingdoms are colliding from past adventures. So it does seem like this is the big thing. I thought it was going to be the big thing with Taladon's death on the Series 10. But no, the stakes are higher. All of the kingdoms are at risk now. And these lightning beasts are clearly a powerful threat. And the thing that I like about it is that these beasts, I think, are more of a personal threat to Tom. They're more like the major threat than Kensa and Sanpeo are at this moment in time. I see Kensa and Sanpeo as more of a background threat, while the lightning beasts are they're the main enemy. They seem to hate Tom and Taladon, and I think, like I said in my theory, I think Taladon is possibly the one who imprisoned them. That's what I'm going for, and I do hope that the wizard can return his items, because he does deserve that for all his good. I know their excuse is he's kind of cheating with the powers, but you know, he did earn them, so it's not really cheating. It was a trophy, a reward. But I can understand it from both points of view. Overall, Solek, I can't really rank it among other books in this series because, again, it's the first one. But what a tremendous start it is. So, as much, and you know, there wasn't much to do with Solek, but they did a damn good job trying to make him threatening. And the first shark beast ever, truly a legend. So, this is the end of Solek, and next time on Beast Quest, we will be facing with Kajin, the Beast Catcher. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest. Series 12, Book 2, Kajin, the Beast Catcher. There we go, said it right. Before I go on, I want to go over a few things. Like always, these Beast Quest reviews will be full in-depth story of each book. Second, last book I didn't mention the beast, the beast from the first book of Series 12. That was Solek, Solek the Scourge of the Sea. So, go check that one out if you haven't already. And second of all, I will go over something in the prologue, which does mention that Taladon did imprison the lightning beasts. So, if you have seen my review on Solek, I had a theory he might be the one to originally imprison the lightning beasts, and I was right. So, a lot being said, let's get on with the plot, and I'll do my overall ratings. So, here we go. Tom was thinking of his quest, allowing our viewers to get a reminder of the series plot. In this, we learn that Kent's arrival to Avantia has caused a chaos so great it released the lightning beasts, which I guess makes sense. How Kenta was meant to be banished to Henkral as her tomb, and now she's out. This sorceress, who was a member of the Circle of Wizards, has released a force greater than anything Tom has ever encountered. Anyway, Tom discovers Freya has disappeared, and he has gone riding with her horse Flame. Yeah, she has gone riding with her horse Flame. Speaking of animals, Storm and Silver have been teleported here by Daltek's magic. Soon enough, Eleanor is awake and Tom is having headaches. He sees visions of his mother in danger. They assume it's the next beast, and they get the token from King Hugo, which he gave them, which would help them find any person they wanted. Our heroes prepare to head out, hoping they weren't too late. Tom and Eleanor rode into a site full of caravans and spotted a fire that resembled the one that was used to trap Komodo back when Tom first visited Gwildor. Tom and friends were soon ambushed, but Silver had escaped. However, it wasn't long to convince the people they were just travelers. They entered in and said they could eat as much as they could each have as much stew as they wanted, as their children couldn't eat any. They refused to leave the game herbs that the next beast is out there in the jungle. Eleanor gave some medicine to be made into tea to help ease the children's throats, to see they could eat. This was a start of gaining trust. Meanwhile, Tom was anxious. He realized he wanted to just leave as he feared his mother. She was all he had left. Even the woman feared her children would never be able to leave their caravans with the beast roaming the jungle woods. So yeah, we've got the children sick, Tom in a state of panic, everyone's all fearing. Tom and Eleanor had a meal with folk until they brought up all wolves, and they were bad to them because of this one Wolfman event. Tom had to reveal the truth to save them from attacking Silver. It wasn't enough, but the folk's leader stepped in and claimed Eleanor's stew had healed her children, so they would be spared. She offered beds for the night, but Tom protested, as he felt for his mother's life, and his quest isn't too important. They snuck away and prepared to leave when the leader came to hand them some magic candles that will light their way through the darkness. Tom was concerned as he felt bad without his tokens. I was surprised that Tom didn't bring up his golden armor powers at all. I mean, he keeps everyone throughout this series so far. They keep mentioning, oh, Tom doesn't have his powers at all. Tom doesn't have his powers. He's still got, yes, they do bring up and remind us that he has the red jewel, but they don't remind us that, hey, he's got the golden armor powers too. Anyway, Tom and Eleanor travel until they noticed Freya was with a stranger. They soon realized this was the victim of the beast. They gave him a candle from the leader of the village and some medicine for his wounds. As he left Tom and asked where his mother's horse was, she explained he had run away in fear. Tom didn't like having his mother. He didn't want to put anyone in more danger, but he saw the map reveal the next beast, named Kajin. And with the description from the victim, they knew what to look for, because another victim, he described it as a wolf man. For another victim crawled by one of Amictus's babies, Tom couldn't wait, as he had to enter the jungle now. So they find a victim of Kajin. Freya's helping him out, and so we're going to enter the jungle now. Tom and friends entered the jungle, and after some walking came across the Voyager ship wreckage from the Battle of Amictus. They soon realized Sampeo's pirates were here gathering up gear for Sampeo's ship, which meant Kensa and Sampeo were here also, but Tom knew that going after Kajin was the right thing to do. However, they bumped into some of Amictus's eggs and actually spotted Kensa and Sampeo. Tom observed that Kensa and Sampeo were fighting over who gets the eggs, but when Tom decided to attack, he hoped Eleanor and Freya would make a surprise attack too, to help out, but they didn't, in which it would be very hard to continue fighting them. However, the two villains made a retreat with one of Amictus's eggs, squabbling over who as they climbed aboard the pirate ship. This arguing caused them to drop the egg, and as it smashed into yucky goop. Tom felt discouraged as one of the good beast babies had been killed. Now he decided to go after Kajin, but there was something he had to know first. Tom was searching for his mother and Eleanor, when suddenly he found them tied up by a net. It was an ambush. Kajin emerged, and Tom attempted to communicate with the beast with his red jewel. But of course Kajin only wanted to kill Tom, as he was the son of Taladon. They got into a powerful scuffle, and Tom wondered how he was going to get out of this one. Tom realized he should call Amictus to help him. However, if he did, Kajin would hear the message. He needed to distract Kajin, so Tom came up with a plan. Using the lightning token and blasting near the Kajin's ear, his hearing was now damaged, and Eleanor and Freya yelled to further distract the beast, while Tom stumbled and fell on a nearby eagle nest where one of the wounded bug babies lay. Amictus arrived and saw her injured baby. She refused to allow any more and prepared to fight Kajin. Tom was in the middle of the clash of beasts. Tom saw the baby bug was okay, and Amictus continued to fend off Kajin, while Tom rescued his mother and Eleanor, and Tom had realized enough in the fight to see how Kajin worked. He wasn't like most wolf beasts. Instead of gaining power from the moonlight was his weakness. After a tense rescue from the net, they climbed the trees and cut down the plants, exposing more moonlight on Kajin. Now Tom swooped down and joined the fight to face Kajin. Amictus backed off and let Tom face Kajin. At this point I knew Kajin was done, and for some miracle he bet Tom. Even if he bet Tom, he would have to face Freya, Eleanor, Amictus, and her babies. The odds are greatly against him. Not to mention, in his weakened state, he hadn't the strength to continue. Anyway, Tom soon got his hands on Kajin, and he lured Kajin towards the wrecked Atlantean ship. At the right timing, Tom jumped off, and the sharp wooden beams that held the sails impaled Kajin's heart, making him fade away. With their victory, Tom knew that Kensa would get weaker with every beast they defeated. Tom thanked Amictus as she left, and our heroes left only to be reunited with their animals, Storm and Silver. And that is basically a synopsis of the plot of this book. Compared to Scourge of the Sea, Solek, it's been a while since I've read that one, but if I had to go with which is the better one, I would say Kajin. One, it's got more of a... There's more stakes on the line with Tom's Tom's mum and friend Eleanor being captured halfway through. The animals, again, they're not in this book much until the finale. I mean, they get taken out a bit. I like the wolf, another wolf beast coming in. I think the last one we had was Silver as a wolf beast. And this is like an actual werewolf kind of thing. So, yeah. And it's a different take on normal werewolves. They take a normal concept and sort of twist it around. Other than that, and he's also kind of like, what was it? Hecton, the body snatcher. Only because he's got a net and all that. So I've got a similar feel from there. What else can I say? Yeah, and I do like a nice little touch that they bring back elements from previous series, like the Avantian ship. That's a device used to kill Kajin, and it's a device used to get stuff for Sampaio. And we do see some more of them bickering, which is good to have villains argue, and it's all good fun for the series. And this is probably going to be one of the better series in Beast Quest. So I'm still looking forward to the next book. And next time on Beast Quest, the next book review I'll be doing, of course, will be Israela, the Creeping Menace. Till next time, guys. Peace. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest, Series 12, Book 3. That would, of course, being Israela. Yep, Israela, the Creeping Menace. And overall, it's a pretty good book. Yeah, overall, in general, it is a pretty good book. But, you know, as we do these Beast Quest reviews, I go over the full synopsis of the plot, and of course I give my overall ratings. So that for review, let's not waste any more time and do the plot. Tom was in a state where he had a horrific vision. He witnessed Adaro being tortured by the group of wizards known as the Circle. Elena woke him up and reminded him, and assumed him this was no doubt a vision sent by Kensa, the sorceress, who had escaped from Henkral, and with her release had caused a disturbance which released the lightning beasts, and was now forcing multiple kingdoms to unite, which is a bad thing. Later, once Freya had returned with fruit, had instructed they had to take it to go, as she sensed another one of her beasts was in danger. Rock. Our heroes saddled up and rode to Tyon. Tom and friends reached Tyon sooner than they expected, which meant the kingdoms were still closing in. It wouldn't be long before the worst. At this point I came to a theory that the lightning beasts seemed to be only going for Tom for revenge as his father imprisoned them. It doesn't appear that they're serving Kensa or Sampaio, so this is probably the first set of beasts without a master. Okay, I know Avantia, but Tom's kind of the master of the beast in Avantia now. However, since Kensa's freedom from Henkral, she has caused a disturbance which released the lightning beasts, and since it was her disturbance, she is in a way connected to the lightning beasts, getting weaker with everyone they defeat, which explains what the heroes were talking about earlier in the past books. Anyway, our heroes come across Tyon and search for the casket, where Tom used Freya's magic webbed gloves, which would make climbing easier. However, they noticed Sampaio's pirate ship was in the area and they found one of Rock's hands. They feared the worst and decided to split up. Freya took the animals while Tom and Eleanor aborted Sampaio's ship. Once aboard, they hid as a pirate approached. Tom and Eleanor explored the pirate ship in hopes of sabotaging the vessel to increase their chances. However, after our plan with some gunpowder, it soon backfired as the pirates had caught our heroes red-handed. Tom tricked Kaimal, Sampaio's first mate, and rescued Eleanor as they made a run for attempting to leave the ship. However, they were caught and were greeted by Sampaio, who offered Tom a choice of which way he preferred dying: walk the plank or be scraped by the ship. Eleanor demanded they walk the plank. Tom was confused, but Sampaio granted her wish, sending them falling to their opposite depths. But luckily for them, Eleanor had kept her wing pack back from their quest from Henkral, which she used to rescue Tom, and glide them safely to Freya and the animals. Once landed, Freya told they needed to head to Bone Valley, as that is where the lightning beast could possibly be, as it's a place with great horror and sorrow. Something else I will note is 1. Tom lost his sword, otherwise that could have been an average sword, and he will get that back again. Second, Tom mentioned that Sampaio was nothing more than a new lackey to Kensa, as she had gone ahead, leaving him aboard his vessel. So it's nice, there's a bit of, yeah, that kind of thing going on there, so Kensa might be using him. Tom and friends arrived at Bone Valley, where Freya mentions the remains of Cycron, the one-eyed tiger, who was the seventh beast long ago before he was killed. She also mentioned that they weren't just bodies of skeletons, but beings resting, and if disturbed their slumber, they will show no mercy. Rock soon arrived under the control of Israel. When Tom tried to use the red jewel to reach out to him, all he got was Israel's name. I think this makes Israel the most interesting beast so far. She doesn't need to fight her battles, so she can just control other beasts to do it for her. But I'm guessing she can't control her own allies, the lightning beasts, because if they're either too powerful or she's just loyal to her mates. Tom and friends had no choice, they had to fight Rock. I also noted Tom's sword was back in his scabbard, so there's a tiny plot hole there. They could have just said earlier that Tom got his sword back, but they didn't. Tom had to lure Rock away from the skeletons, otherwise he would awaken them from their slumber. Rock caught him, however, but Tom learned that Israel was inside Rock, and he had to find a way of removing her. Then the idea came clear. He used his mental strength to tell Rock to break apart. With no solid body, Israel would be free from Rock. It worked, of course, and now Tom had to find Israel. He had to find Israel, and Eleanor was ready. Oh, don't worry about Rock, though. He's a golem type beast, so he can reform. Tom, Freya, and Eleanor split up, searching for Israel, only to reveal she was, Israel's a girl, only to reveal that she was going after Tom. Makes sense, he was the one that thwarted her plan, plus he's the son of Taladon. She soon revealed herself, and Tom noticed two things. That she was in the mist for a reason. Sunlight is her weakness. But something else Tom noticed was a blue bone inside her body. Tom wondered if that was her power source. After a scuffle, Tom vowed he was coming for Israel. Tom shared his new information with Ella and Freya. I should have mentioned the last chapter, but Israel managed to poison Tom's arm, and it was slipping through him. It wasn't fatal, but it did leave its pain. Despite splitting up, Israel went for Tom, when Tom sprung a trap, hoping to use Cyclon's fang to pin down Israel. However, that backfired, as being a lizard, ripped her own tail off and regenerated another. Tom knew the time was now to use the token. He wasn't out of tokens completely, as he used Israel's own mind trick with a red jewel to lure her out. And in timing it right, he tossed the lightning token, defeating Israel. Also, with Israel dead, Tom was free from the poison. Tom told his friends to scatter Israel's bones around the Bone Valley so she can never rise again. They noticed that Freya had been attacked by Kensa. She had taken Cycron's claw. Luckily, Freya was alright, but Kensa, stealing the claw, meant something bad was bound to happen. Downtick arrived, informing of them of danger in Kaonia, another kingdom. He had to take them there instantly, which means using magic. He knew the Circle of Wizards would punish him if he was caught, but he had to take action for the kingdom's sake. Tom said goodbye to his mother, and they were off on another adventure. So, yeah, that was Israel, the Creeping Menace. Overall, it's a decent plot. It's got a nice amount of action, suspense, tension, and I like that Israel goes about in a different way, kind of like a stealthy approach to it than direct force. So there's a nice bit of mix-up there, controlling beasts, using stealth tactics, poison, all kinds of moves like that, all in play. And then you've got the build-up for her, which is going to iconic places. And of course they had to fight Rock earlier under mind control, so that was a nice change. So I think with all these changes, I'm going to say this is the best book, yeah. I'm going to say this is the best book so far. Kajin was cool, but this one sort of takes what had the elements that had a few elements that the previous book had, and it sort of takes it up a bit. So based on that, surprisingly, Israel is the best book of Series 12 so far. Okay guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps out the channel, really does. And next time on Beast Quest Reviews, we will be doing Bigrush, the clawed eagle. Till next time, guys. Peace. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest, Series 12, Book 3, Bigrush, the clawed eagle. Should be called the clawed griffin because that's essentially what she is. And yes, Bigrush is a girl in this book. So like I do with all these Beast Quest reviews, I'm going to go the overall plotting and then give my overall thoughts. Sometimes I do it other way around, where I give my overall thoughts and then do the story, but you know, for this time around, I'll just go over the overall story. I will mention before I start though, but I've also been doing some research into Tom's powers set and what he's capable of. I know that most of his powers have been taken away, but it actually I'm glad I did the research because it actually plays a part into one of the plot holes I have with this book. But it doesn't change where I'm going to put it in the series of how I rank, of how where I think how good this book is. Anyway, let's go on with the plot and see how awesome this book turns out to be. Tom and friends arrived in Caonia with an increased speed boost of magic thanks to their friend Daltek. However, there would be consequences for his actions. If he was caught by the circle of wizards, caught by the circle of wizards. But it was all for the good of the kingdoms. Thanks to Daltek's magic, they had arrived at their destination, Queen Remain's castle, where Tom once fought Vespic the Wasp Queen. They noticed the marshlands had grown on the castle. Now they said this was full of Kensa's beasts, which I disagree. The lightning beasts are their own separate villains. They have a vendetta against Tom, as he's the son of a warrior who imprisoned them long ago, while Kensa and Sampaio are a separate threat doing their own scheme, while trying to push the lightning beasts on our hero's path. That's where I'm getting out of this so far. Anyway, Tom decides they meet with the Queen when suddenly a worker was gonna fall, and Tom decides to rescue him. And that little detail of Tom deciding to do something personal that affects him will play a key role later on. So Tom and friends rescue the worker, and the people instantly recognize, and the person instantly recognizes him as the hero who vanquished Vespic, and so does everyone else. They are taken to Queen Remain, and she was in a weaker state. No doubt to the kingdom getting closer to the kingdoms growing close in affecting of her land. They asked if they could have a squadron of soldiers to help battle one of the remaining lightning beasts. She agreed, but advised them to stay and gain rest first. They refused, but she insisted they at least eat some food before setting out. So some food was brought to them, and after eating some, they felt sleepy. Yet you could see where this is going. I suspected this at the moment she insisted on them staying. I bet it's Kensa. Our heroes were taken to special beds and were drugging off. Suddenly, Tom noticed spikes on the ceiling of his bed. He then realized that their food had been drugged. Tom used the powers of his red jewel to call a beast, but the only one closest was Silver. True, he wasn't a beast now, but back in Seraph, in Series 9, Marvel had turned him against them. Now, of course, Silver saves them, but the whole point of that book, to me, was to reverse the spell. So I'm going to say it was more of just a coincidence that Silver rescued him in time. Anyway, Eleanor now needed to be rescued, and once that was succeeded, they faced the Queen for her actions. She explained she was forced into it, as Sampaio's pirates were here and ambushed our heroes. This book so far, despite its nitpick, is having my interest so far right now. Tom and friends fought off the pirates in a pretty engaging battle and soon bounded them all together. Queen Remain explained they had captured her daughter and no doubt they bargained her in return for exchange for Tom and friends. But we know Sampaio wouldn't keep his word. The pirates were taken to the dungeon while Tom revealed he had a magic mirror given to him by King Hugo, which would help him find people. Once an image placed, the quest was set. The Queen Remain said she couldn't really provide them with the soldiers, as Meaton needed all the warriors to help protect the city from ever-closing marshlands, but the Queen did mention she could help them in another way. Tom and friends were brought to a sacred chamber, which contained a wing from Vespic. Romaine gave it to them, knowing it could prove useful in Tom's quest, but they had to be careful as this was once from an evil beast. Preparing to head out, they realized the next beast was called Bigrush, and he awaited, and he, I say he, because it turns out she's a she later on, and I was thinking she was a he at the time, but so she's awaiting them in the marshlands. So once again, storm back, they got Storm back, and they rode for the marshlands, only to be stopped when they heard a man cry out, and from the sounds he made, he assumed he was drowning. Once again, another person in peril, and Tom just has to save his life. This happens a lot apparently in this book. Tom and friends soon found the man and rescued him from the mud using the powers he gained from his connection to from the golden armor. I may have forgotten to mention, but yes, Tom does have the golden armor connection and the red jewel as his remaining abilities. Anyway, they save him and he goes on about a creature, either eagle or lion. Evelyn assumed he was crazy, but Tom reminded her that if it was the beast, they should listen because they don't know what to expect because they don't know what it looks like. Soon enough, Storm was running right at them, and behind was Bigrush, finally meeting Tom and Eleanor face to face. It was revealed, of course, at this moment that Bigrush is a girl, and she wasted no time in attacking the group, hurting Storm in the process. They were about to prepare for this amazing battle. Tom and friends tried to fight Bigrush, ignoring the man they rescued, who was doing nothing but panicking, telling them to give up. Soon Tom got his hands on the lightning tokens and believed he knew the right one to defeat Bigrush. And of course, Bigrush. However, Queen Remaine's poison hadn't worn off yet, which was still affecting Tom. This allowed Bigrush to get the jump on Tom and lose lightning token. She was going to drop him up from a great height. Tom tried to get through to her with the power of the red jewel, but he entered Bigrush's thoughts. He saw his father laughing cruelly as Bigrush was sent drowning into her prison. Now this could be an image, as we know. This could be an image, as we know, only of Taladon from the beast point of view. Otherwise, this needs some serious explaining, because we're inside. Tom is inside the beast's mind, so he's just seeing Taladon from her point of view. So it could be like that, but it's kind of, if it's not that, it's kind of suspicious, and it does need some explaining later on down the road, which I hope it does. As we expect, though, as you expect, Bigrush is refusing to change her mind, and she released Tom to his death. Without his eagle feather to weaken his fall, he would be killed. Because that was Arcta's ability from the shield, and he's lost that power temporarily, I think, from the Circle of Wizards. So Tom saved himself using Vespic's wing, and used it as a parachute to glide down safely. He then realized that Bigrush was weakened by mud, or feared it, as it blocked her wings, disabling her flight. As Tom had tried to slice Bigrush with his sword, but only mud got onto her, and that's when Tom discovered this flaw in the beast. This has happened a lot in these quests. It's not just the tokens that helps Tom beat these beasts that Tom encounters, but he actually figures out weaknesses that not many warriors could do. So it shows truly how he deserves the powers and the title of Master of the Beasts. Anyway, Tom explained how he had lost the lightning token, but he knew how to bring Bigrush down by throwing mud balls at her and luring them back to meet him. However, Tom would need some bait, and Eleanor gladly volunteered. Eleanor lured the beast into some position, while Kurt the rat catcher had rescued, and Kurt the rat catcher was the guy they rescued and took Storm and fled back. And when in position, Tom used his golden leg armor to jump on the beast. Okay, now I think they've got this backwards, because the golden boots are the item that give Tom the jumping power. The leg armor was to make him run faster. Anyway, once Tom was on Bigrush, Tom released a sack of rats on Bigrush, which nipped at her wings. Yeah, and he got the rats from the rat catcher, by the way. And since Bigrush has taken so much damage from the mud and the rat bites, she crashed into the marsh swamps. Luckily, Tom jumped off just in time, and when our heroes saw the beast sinking, Tom fought back. He fought back to Bigrush's vision of how she met a similar fate, being sunk down into her prison. Tom let his emotions take the better of him, and he convinced his team to help save her from the swamps and of course, they soon did, and Kurt revealed that he had found the lightning token. However, Bigrush hadn't changed. She was still going to kill Tom, and this made Tom lose his lightning token again, and Tom felt like a fool for letting the emotions cloud his judgment. Eleanor shot an arrow quickly while the lightning token had been flung into the air, and kills the beast in a pretty badass way, because she shoots the token and destroys it, and the beast is at close range of it, and it's like a bomb basically, and it blows it up. And with nothing left but her paw prints, Tom sent a final message to Bigrush, hoping she would hear him, as he told her she fought well, and he hoped she would rest in peace now. Tom then explained his vision of Taladon while he saw Bigrush's thoughts, and then they couldn't believe that Taladon would act in such a cruel way. Our heroes had returned to the castle, saying goodbye to Kurt, and sadly informed the Queen they couldn't find her daughter. However, Tom noticed that the locator pearl was glowing, which meant Kensa was nearby. Again, I assumed Queen Remain was all along Kensa in disguise. But no, the pirate ship arrived, and Sampaio and Kensa revealed they had the Princess Esmeralda captive, and took her away, continuing on with their evil plans. Tom told the Queen he would get her daughter back, ending our story. So yeah, that was Bigrush. I think I got through the plot pretty well. It's kind of a interesting feeling. It's like, now when it comes to my overall ratings of this book, there are a few like nitpicks that are there. Originally, I was gonna say this was gonna be the best book of Series 12. Yeah, Series 12. But due to those weaknesses that the book has, it does lower it down a bit for me, and puts it on equal terms of Israel's book from the last one. Not the last one. Wait, is it the last one? Because I think whatever Israel what? Oh, this is book 4, and Solek was 1. Kajin was 2. Okay, so this one, yeah, Israel was the one before this, and yeah, and these two ones, Bigrush and Israel, are neck and neck for different reasons though. Israel has like a more suspenseful, tense action stealth to it, while this one is a bit more of sympathy and tension and stuff like that, different elements, but still they are good. And like I said, this one's a bit better, but again, those nitpicks that I had with it are kind of fatal ones that tie it with Israel for its #1 spot on this so far anyway. But yeah, this has been my review on Bigrush, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and join us next time on Beast Quest, where we face Murka, the ice horse. Till next time, guys. Peace. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest, Series 12, Book 5, Murka, the ice horse. Well guys, we're back again with Beast Quest, and you know, it's been a fun time, and of course we're back again with Murka. So let's see how this one fares. Without further ado, let's go to the story. Tom and friends were still at Queen Remain's castle. They needed to go after Kensa, the sorceress, and Sampaio, the pirate king. They had captured Princess Esmeralda and were heading north to the ice desert. After some communication with the general, a scientist called Doc entered and claimed he had a way of catching up to our enemies. He had invented a flying machine. Tom and Eleanor were a bit concerned, but considering time was one of the things they couldn't waste, they agreed and took flight. With Doc coming with them, as he was the best qualified to pilot the vessel, much to our heroes' annoyance, as they feared that his bumbling could slow them down. But again, seeing they had limited time, they let it slide, and even brought Silver along. But of course there was no room for Storm, so he would be looked after by Queen Remain, while Tom and friends attempted to rescue Princess Esmeralda. The final thing was the map had revealed the latest beast's name, Murka, and our heroes wondered, would they face Sampaio and Kensa, or this lightning beast first? Tom and friends were aboard Doc's flying machine, and after a few bit of bumps in the winds, they not only reached the icy desert, but managed to find Sampaio's ship. They tried to stealthily get the drop on him and rescue the princess. However, they were spotted, and in the air scuffle, Doc, the pilot, was knocked out. Tom took command and managed to sneak up on the pirate ship to rescue Princess Esmeralda, and thanks to Eleanor's lucky marksman skills, they were able to get her without Sampaio or Ken noticing. However, Sampaio's crew did and attempted to stop them from escaping by boarding their flying machine. Tom climbed up and fought the pirates off, and eventually they succeeded. He wanted to go after them for what they had done, which made him accidentally stab a hole in the balloon section of the ship, causing a crash landing. Tom and friends were falling inside the flying machine, and luckily Doc awoke and told them what to do to slow the impact of the crash landing. It worked and they landed safer than they should have, but once landed, Silver noticed some strange tracks, which weren't made by them. Our heroes knew it was the next beast, and soon they were greeted by a vision of Daltek, who tried to give them some info on Murka, but his image had faded. Tom told Esmeralda and Doc to stay and repair the ship, while Tom and his friends would see where these tracks would take them, but Tom secretly was fearing of the new beast. I should have mentioned, but I probably did, that, Esmeralda was successfully saved, so there's that. Well, of course, now it's time for the beast action. Tom and friends venture forth, and wondering how they're going to fight Murka with their hands feeling so cold. Soon enough, something caught their attention. It was a light source. They followed it, and soon enough encountered a pirate imprisoned in a cage. Sampaio had thrown him overboard when he got pissed off at the pirate, and now he was a victim of Murka. Tom didn't know if he should free him, as he didn't trust him, but said if he was alive when they returned, they would free him. They continued following the light, then noticed 4 long legs. Yep, Murka was right above them, and now it was battle time. Tom and friends tried to fight off Murka, but he was more the most offensive beast of the lightning beast they had ever come across. Well, that's just my opinion. I think he's the most offensive. Anyway, even Tom removed his woolly coat for extra speed, but that wasn't enough to change the tide of battle. So they witnessed Murka's power as he blasted his ice breath, creating an ice cage around Eleanor, which explains how the pirate got trapped. But now Tom was alone, and even with Silver, he got hit in the fight as well. Tom tried to rescue Eleanor, but Murka wasn't going to allow it. With Eleanor now prisoner, he could focus on getting his revenge on Tom for his father's actions. He tried to trample Tom to death, but Tom couldn't hold his ground forever. Eleanor told Tom to leave her and focus on taking out Murka, which he did. He tried to run at the beast, but he remembered he didn't have the golden armor power, which is a lie, because in Bigrush he used the golden armor powers to jump on Bigrush's back. The only powers he lost were the 5 of the 6 jeweled belt and the shield tokens. If they wanted to say that why Tom wasn't going faster was because he didn't have Tagus's horseshoe, as that's the power that also focuses on speed, they could have said that, but no. They said the golden armor, and he didn't have that, which is a lie, because in the last book we get explanation that he does have those powers. So it's kind of weird that they're saying that Tom doesn't have the golden armor, when last book clearly states he does. Anyway, Tom ran to the edge of a cliff and quickly plunged his sword in to stop his fall. But as he was dangling, he spotted a weak bridge. Tom knew, even with his weight, he wouldn't manage to support himself on that bridge, but for certain he knew that huge beast wouldn't, and Tom formed a plan. Tom swung himself back over and tried to trick Murka into riding him. However, despite Tom's efforts, that plan backfired. Luckily, Doc and Esmeralda arrived in the flying machine. Esmeralda riding on Murka, while Tom could do his damage. This is where the tables were turning. Tom had the advantage now. They had Murka tied up for a while, but his weight was too much. He broke free, and the fight continued on the weak canyon edge. Eleanor had broken free and tried to throw Tom the right lightning token for the job, but it landed under Murka, and Tom had to trick Murka into using his own weight against him. With the red jewel he did. Murka's rage got the better of him, and his huge pounce was way too much, and he began falling into the chasm. But then, so did Tom. Tom was rescued by Doc as he picked him up in the flying machine, and then our heroic team flew back to Meaton. Eleanor also explained she released the pirate as it was the right thing to do, and luckily he did no harm to her. When they arrived at Meaton, they refused to stay for a feast, basically, and heard from Esmeralda that Sanpeo and Kensa were planning to attack Avantia. They headed to Storm and needed to make a return to home. And yeah, that's essentially the plot of Murka, the Ice Horse. Overall, I think it's not. It may be actually. Okay, actually, I think this is the weakest book. Yeah, remembering those other books now, yeah, I think this might be the weakest, just because of that one element that's made it held back for me. Because Kajin was okay. Solek didn't have any issues. Israel didn't have any issues. Israel was pretty good. It was tied with Bigrush, but this one is probably the weakest, I'd say. But that's just me. And next time on Beast Quest, though, guys, hopefully things can get better, because we're facing the last of the lightning beasts, Karma, the faceless beast. Till next time, guys. Peace. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest, Series 12, Book 6. Took a while to say that. But here we are, Book 6 of Series 12, and I've got to say, no doubt about it, it is, of course, the best book in Series 12. But again, when it comes to the Beast Quest series, normally the last book is the best, because that's where it gets to the climax of the series, and this is no exception. Let's go on to them. Tom and friends were preparing to leave in Doc's flying machine, to head back to Avantia and stop Kent and Sanpeo. They even upgraded the machine with a greater speed and extra space to carry Storm. However, once our heroes got airborne, Tom saw that the final lightning beast called Kamar, that's something I want to mention, pronouncing his name different now, because I thought, I thought Kamar was a girl, but it's actually a male. So, originally I was going to, if you saw my last Beast Quest review, I said Karma, because I thought it was a she, but no, it's a male, so it's going to be pronounced Kamar. Anyway, it's revealed he's in Tom's village, Erenel, and he knew his aunt and uncle were in danger, so he had to get to save them. They were almost there, but the flying machine was running low on fuel, and Doc said they would need a source of power as great as lightning to power it. Tom and Ellen decided to use the last lightning token, which is kind of risky, as they were the only things that helped defeat the lightning beasts, but there would be no battle if they crashed, so they did it. But I'm sure this is going to stab them in the back later on. Tom and friends soon arrived in Erenel, thanks to the increased speed of the lightning token. Tom went to see his uncle, who informed him that his aunt had been missing for several days. Tom's uncle told of her last known location, and they headed out, with Tom telling Doc to return to Keonia as he didn't want to put him in any more danger. After a bit of travelling, they found Tess, Tom's aunt's friend, and she described the beast had a spider-like body, and of course, it had Tom's aunt. It took Tom's aunt hostage. Tom told Storm and Silver to escort Tess back to Erenel, while our heroes ventured forth to rescue Aunt Maria. But Tess did ask Tom why was he not there to protect them, which we knew he couldn't, as there was danger throughout the kingdoms. But you could tell those words affected Tom. Our heroes soon reached Kamar's cave, and Tom vowed if the beast had harmed his aunt, he would make it pay. Which shows personal feelings are starting to make their toll on Tom. Anyway, after slicing through webs, they soon found Maria alive in a web coffin, while freeing Kamar. While freeing her, Kamar was there, basically. So Kamar is now here. Tom lured Kamar away into another cave, while Eleanor rescued Tom's aunt. It seemed with every web Kamar's whip increased in length. Tom and Kamar got into a scuffle, and Tom lost his footing. He then realized he had no chance to beat Kamar inside the cave. He had the advantage. Tom then used the power of the red jewel to increase Kamar's rage. My guess is he's planning to lure him out of the cave, and yes, Eleanor did successfully rescue Tom's aunt, by the way. Tom soon lured Kamar outside and got into a scuffle with Kamar. He soon saw Kamar's faceless face, with eyeballs missing and his mouth carved out right out like a pumpkin. Tom was wondering, did his father do those wounds? Tom still seems to think that Taladon may have acted more cruelly than he thought, because with Bigrush we had a similar thing in mind with that. Anyway, Silver and Storm came to help, and soon so did Eleanor. Tom had lost his weapons in the scuffle, but managed to get Kamar in a hold, while Eleanor was forming a plan. Tom used his golden armor strength to push Kamar into Eleanor's rope trap, and it worked, tripping the beast over. Tom tried to get answers out of Kamar, asking why Tom must die so badly. He wanted to know the truth. However, it seemed that Kamar was so wounded from his wounds. He was so wounded from his wounds to continue fighting. He began fading before their very eyes. His wounds were very fatal. With the final lightning beast gone, Tom and friends were teleported to the Circle of Wizards, and they were disappointed. Kenza hadn't been delivered to them, which meant they were preparing to sentence Adaro. I should also mention Uncle Henry was going to tell Tom the truth before the wizards took him away, which really ticked me off because like Tom, I really wanted to know the answer. Tom finally stood up to the cruel judge, and the powerful confrontation took place. Soon a verdict was decided. Adaro would be free if he agreed to be a wizard no longer. To Adaro's dismay, he agreed to it, and he now had lost all his magical abilities. He was a wizard no longer. On the bright side, Tom got all his powers back from the judge, so his jeweled belt and his tokens for his shield and all that stuff. Tom and friends had returned to King Hugo's castle, and they informed of them of the news. After Adaro explained to Daltek his new role as chief wizard, and King Hugo the rules of the magic, they were soon visited by Petra, Malvel's former assistant. She had grown far more powerful since last time, but claimed she wasn't here for a fight, but to provide them information. She revealed that Kens and Sampaio were working for the judge on the Circle of Wizards. I had a feeling he was a bad character from the moment he showed up back at the start of this series. Tom had paid close attention and learned that the judge was behind all of Kens and Sampaio's actions, while the lightning beasts were a distraction. However, the stuff about Taladon was true. His father had acted cruelly to the lightning beasts. As it was one of his earlier adventures, he still had flaws back then, and that was one of them. The judge revealed their plans to take over each kingdom piece by piece, and soon he revealed that he knew how the others were watching him, and he teleported them all to Sampaio's ship, ordering them killed. I gotta say that the judge is an effective villain. He played the good guy act really well, even giving Tom's powers back when he probably shouldn't have. He must really be buying his act. Tom and friends were instantly involved in a fight between Sampaio, Kensa, and the judge. After a decent scuffle, the judge used his magic to send all our heroes flying off the pirate ship. Luckily, Daltek and Petra used their magic to make cloud cushions to catch King Hugo and Adaro, while Tom saved Eleanor with his shield's token of Arctur's feather. The villains had escaped, but Tom vowed this wasn't over. So yeah, that's essentially Kamar, the Faceless Beast. Overall, as you can tell, it's an amazing book. One surprise after another builds. You know, you've got the engaging subplot of Tom learning the truth about his father, that he did act cruel once, but he got better over time, which makes sense how Tom's going to grow as a character, just like Taladon did. And then you've got the stuff with the judge, who's revealed as a bad guy. Kind of saw it coming, so it wasn't really a massive surprise, because there were hints of his cruelty there. So yeah, I kind of saw that coming a bit. But overall, the decent twists and the fact that the villains got away does show what's coming up next for the next series, Series 13, I do believe. That's probably it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Series 13, and I hope you guys are too. And who knows, I can't wait to see it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. And brace yourselves for the next series book, which is Skurik, the Forest Demon. Till next time, guys. Peace.